Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to Manful Yoga. This workout is going to speed up your recovery. So we're going to go through shoulders, we're going to work on your hips, we're going to work on relieving pressure or aching in your joints, and we're going to help you get back to feeling 100% in less time. Let's get started. We're going to start off in a child's pose. So child's pose is great, helps us get the arms overhead without really using the muscles in our shoulders, so it's great for recovery, lengthening those muscles without engaging them. Press your butt back toward your heels. Try to tighten your core. So you want to think of pressing your lower back toward your belly button and pressing your butt back as far as you can toward your heels and tightening your lower abdominal muscles. Arms are active, lightly pressing into the ground. And just take a few deep breaths here. And if you're sore, and you might feel some soreness in your shoulders by doing this, you might feel some soreness in your legs, wherever you're sore. Just take a note of that, and we're going to try and loosen that up as we go through this recovery session. Deep breaths. Start slowing down your breathing. 2 more long breaths here. One more. All right, and then let's go child's pose with the side stretch. So I'm going to have you bring your left hand where your right hand is and bring your right hand to the outside. Work on pressing your left shoulder to the ground. Pull your left hip toward the heels. So you're going to have a tendency to maybe lift out away from the heels with your hips here. Try to keep that left hip pressing down. Arms are still active, just lightly engaging your arms to keep your arms straight. And now getting a deeper stretch through that left hand. And if you want to even get a deeper stretch, bring your left hand on top of your right hand. And your head just kind of go between your arms here. Just going a little bit deeper into this. Totally optional. You can play around with that hand placement. Maybe go left hand under the right hand to make it a little more passive. Just keep the neck relaxed. One more breath here. All right, and then come back to the middle, back to a neutral child's pose. And then bring your right hand where your left hand was. Bring your left hand to the outside and relax your head down. Work on pressing your right shoulder to the ground. It's not going to touch, but press it toward the ground. And then try to press your right hip toward the ground. Make sure it's not coming away from the ground. Forehead is just relaxed on the ground here. Deep breaths. Working on lengthening the outside of your body, the right side of your body. So from that hip up through the shoulder. You can go deeper here. Bring your right hand on top of the left hand. And your head is just kind of between your arms here, however you can manage that. And then again, if you want to go more passive, bring your right hand under the left hand and hold that for about 3 breaths. Again, try to focus on lengthening the right side of your body here. So you want to get a nice arc from your right hip up through the shoulder as long as you can. One more breath. See if you can lengthen the right side a little bit more. All right, and then bring it back to the middle. From here, we're going to go into a Sphinx. So I'm going to have you lean forward, come flat onto your chest, bring your legs straight back. Lightly press your feet into the ground, just lightly. And then bring your forearms in about shoulder width distant. Press down through your forearms. Stretch your abs, lift your chest up. lightly lift your head away from your shoulders. Maybe lean back just a little bit. And we're working on stretching the abs here. So we're going to do about 3 breaths here. Think of lifting your belly button in toward your lower back as you press down through your forearms. And if you want to get a little more intense here, you can work on pressing your head, top of your head toward the ceiling, and then pulling your neck toward the back. This is opening up the front side of your body. 2 more breaths here. I know I said 3 at the beginning, but I lied. 2 more breaths. You got to hold the stretches for a long time in order for them to do something. Last breath. All right, and then release. All right, from here we're going to go and do a prayer child's pose or prayer variation. So I'm going to have you bring the blocks, if you have blocks. Get 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can also use a bench for this. So we're just going to put the blocks at their highest setting. Bring your fingers on the outside of the block. Bring your palms on top of the block, on the tops of the blocks. Child's pose with your lower body. Relax your head toward the ground. Pull your hips away from your shoulders and just stretch out your shoulders here a little bit deeper. Your forehead might not touch the ground, and that's totally fine. Don't worry about that. If you have a 3rd block lying around somewhere, you can even put that block right under your forehead so your head is supported, but it doesn't need to be supported. We're just working on opening up the shoulders here a little bit more. So we do want to have a little bit of an external rotation to the shoulder, so the biceps starting to wrap up. And then thinking of pulling the shoulders further away from the hands and pulling the hips further away from the shoulders. So just making a nice long line from the hips all the way up through the hands, just to help to get a little deeper into the shoulders. You'll feel the stretching in your armpit areas and your shoulders, maybe in your chest, and maybe in your back as well. 1 more breath here. Deep breath. Exhale helps you go a little bit deeper into this. 1 more breath. All right, let's go ahead and move out of that. We're going to go into a lunge. So right leg forward, keep the left knee back. Use the blocks if you have them. Place them on either side of your right foot. Slide your left knee back as far as you can. Press your hips toward your right heel. And just work on opening up your hips here. So we're pressing the hips forward, getting a nice deep stretch through the hips. Right hip is going to be slightly active here. You don't want to put a death grip engagement into your right leg here, but slightly active, pressing both hips toward the right foot. Maybe lightly pressing down through your right foot as well. And then using those blocks, I want you to come as upright as you can. So kind of lifting up your chest away from the ground. And that's going to help you deepen the stretch through your left leg. And just a couple breaths here. The exhale helps your hips sink forward. 1 more breath. All right. Then we're going to go to a twist here. So I want you to come to a slightly less deep lunge. So bring the knee up a little bit. Come upright with your low lunge, stacking your shoulders on top of your hips. Bring your arms to the outsides and just twist toward the right. So keeping your body upright, reaching your right hand toward the back, reaching your left hand forward. As you inhale, lift up your chest. And as you exhale, twist a little deeper. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more breath. And then back to the middle. Use those blocks again. We're going to go back to a half split. So shift your hips back. You might need to bring your left knee about 6 inches further back. And then reach your toes toward your shin and your front foot. Bring the blocks back so they are on either side of your shin. Press your right thigh toward the ground and then squeeze the top of your left thigh toward your hip. And lift your chest, top of the left thigh toward your chest. So we're using the hip flexors, we're using the core. Also applying that downward pressure, pushing the hip toward the ground at the same time. So there's a lot of opposing forces here, Basically, we're getting your muscles a little more active, so we can work on active release for the backs of your thighs. So while we engage the tops of your thighs, we're stretching the backs of your thighs. Go ahead and lift your chest up. Make sure you're getting a nice upright position with the half split. And if you want, you can reach and grab your toes, pull those back toward your shin to get a little deeper into your calf. One more breath here. All right, and then shift forward. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So blocks come back up to the top. Left foot is going to come up. Start in that lunge again, and a little bit deeper than you're used to. So bring the right knee back a little bit, as much as you can, while keeping the left knee over the ankle. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and allow the hips to sink forward. So working into the hips, pressing your hips toward your left heel. Hands on either side of the block, keeping yourself supported here. So we're using the blocks because we're trying to focus on recovery here. If we were making this about strength, or making this into a strength workout, I'd have you not use the blocks at all. I'd have you use your legs and your core more. But since we want to make this more recovery focused, we're using the blocks so you can put some of the weight into the blocks instead of using your body to hold yourself up. And then come upright for the last couple breaths in this low lunge. So still using the blocks, just fingertips kind of lightly resting on the blocks, lifting your chest up, maybe pressing the right hip forward. You want to think lengthening the right hip, so making the area from that mid-thigh up through your ribs a little bit longer to work deeper into your hip flexor. If you're feeling any pressure in the knee here, which is normal because we're not using as much muscle engagement, feel free to put a towel or a sweatshirt under your kneecap, just for a little added protection. All right, and have you bring that right knee back in a couple inches. Come all the way into an upright low lunge. Bring your arms straight out to the sides and twist. Left hand toward the back, right hand forward. Breathe in and lift. Exhale, twist a little more. Reaching toward the back. Just a couple breaths here, working on a gentle twist for your spine. Also getting some good core engagement as we do this. One last breath, see if you can go a little bit taller with the inhale and a little bit deeper with the twist on the exhale. And then bring it back in. Half split, hands on either side of the blocks. Shift your right knee back about 6 inches. Shift your hips toward the back. Move the blocks back on either side of your left shin. Press your left thigh toward the ground, using the strength of your left leg to press down. And then also squeezing the top of your thigh toward your chest. So actively engaging the quadriceps and the hip flexors to stretch the backs of your thighs, right, the hamstrings. And then make sure you're lifting your chest here, so staying upright through the spine. We do want to encourage a neutral spine in this position. Hamstrings usually get tight with any lower body workout, whether we went running, swimming, or if we did weights, hamstrings are going to be active. And if you sit, your hamstrings are going to be tight. So this is pretty much good for anybody. And then if you want to add that calf stretch, and you should, even if you don't want to, bring your hand to the back of your foot, the backs of your toes, and then just pull that in a little bit, toes pointing toward your shin to stretch your calf. A couple breaths here. As you exhale, maybe pulling a little bit deeper into this. Your muscles relax as you exhale, so use that. All right, and then release. We'll go ahead and stand up from here since the body's pretty warm at this point. All right, we're gonna go into a standing position. Thanks for joining me for this workout today. Make sure you subscribe. We put out lots of videos like this on a very regular basis. And to get full access to all of my workouts, my programs, tutorials, and more, head to manfulyoga.com, sign up for a 7-day trial. It's just $1. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.